And what about the ones that are successful, the ones that really thrive?
They're just animals. They're just animals. They're just like, they just work so hard. They message me at 2 a.m. their time. They're just constantly asking the right questions. They just they're just not scared of being wrong. The main thing is, I remember messaging someone about their campaign structure and the fact that they needed to completely rebrand their entire website. Within a week, it was all done. And then they just came back and they just sent me a voice note. It's like, what next? I've also, on the flip side, had people ask me things and literally 12 months later, it's still there. So it's a bias to action and just, be an animal.
Fuck. That brought a smile to my face.
Yeah.
The animal and the bias to action. And I think you see this in amazing founders who you give them a piece of information and there is no time between hearing it and the action taken. And when you get to extrapolate that over 2, 3, 5, 10 years, you realize where they can get to because they just continually compound the speed. But the animal piece is interesting. So I was sitting across the table. I don't know if you ever met a young gal by the name of Kate. She's got a business called Moody Wellness Beverage.
Oh no, I saw your podcast and it was great.
So she was sitting across the table for a week or two ago, and I was looking into her eyes, and I was like, there was something about that animal founder where you can just see it in their eyes. You can see the fire and the passion, and it's so true. It's a perfect description, an animal.
So I used to be like that. I think that, so the best period of my business is when I was like that. I was probably 23 to 27. This is when Udi went to $200 million in like 2-3 years.
It's crazy.
And there was no pause and reflection. And I just went so quickly. Then so many bad things happen, which it has to. Whatever goes up, like there's going to be mistakes. I hired the wrong CFO. I hired a lot of bad issues. And I took that negative stuff just because that's when I started having a lot of mental health issues, panic attacks, that kind of stuff, as that the previous actions that I had just done, like being an animal, was incorrect. And slowing down my decision-making and getting other people's advice and following their advice more than my intuition was key. And I, like everything that we say on these podcasts, there's always some truth in both sides of that. Probably did need to slow down, probably did need to, hire some good people in those roles. But at the same time, after that period, which is probably like 2 years, and we're probably just coming out of it this year, I had so much doubt. I had so much fear of failure that I just stopped being like that. I was too scared to make a mistake. And I think a lot of people, I think it was like Kobe was talking about it with NBA players, that it's so easy to be number one because as soon as they get there, as soon as everyone gets to the NBA, they slow down. And I think that's what can happen for you as well. You're so attached to the success that you get that you're less willing to take risks. And I think that's the beginning of the end of your ability to really, really change the world. So if your goal isn't to change the world, don't worry about still being an animal. Just go sail off into the sunset, go sit on your yacht. But if you do want to be, change the world, you just need to keep that animalistic instinct,